Good afternoon, and welcome back to the Urban Preparedness channel, the only channel that understands not everybody can afford to bug out to their beautifully spacious cabin in the middle of the mountains somewhere. For all my subscribers, hey, thanks. I'm glad that my content is reaching people. For those of you that haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so if you actually like my videos. If you don't, hey, let me know in the comments. I will do what I can to change them and make them a little bit better. My past few videos have been pretty eclectic, and I've been meaning to do a video on everyday carry. So that's what I'm going to do today, is the video on everyday carry I've been promising for the last 3 days. Now, my everyday carry items are not exactly the traditional prepper everyday carry items. I'm not going to pull out my bob and start tearing into all of the items that I find essential to have, in my car or in my backpack. I'm just going to give you all of the items that I have on me 99.9% of the time. Okay? Those items are, we're going to start with the ones that I can't carry into a bank or a courthouse or, the Veterans Affairs office. And that is my sidearm, which is a Kimber Custom Stainless Model 2, holds 7 in the mag, 1 in the chamber, 45 ACP. I'm a huge fan because it has literally never given me an issue. It's absolutely flawless, and I've never had a jam. I've never had a failure to eject anything. Yes, you can carry more rounds with a Glock than you can with a 45. However, every single time there's a rush on ammunition in this country, we seem to run out of 9mm significantly quicker than we run out of 45 ACP. So while I do have multiple sidearms that I carry depending on ammo availability, my primary EDC carry is a 45 ACP. I just can't beat the stopping power. Next, I carry a tiny little knife. Okay, it's not huge, it's not excessive. It's based off of a K-bar design, but this one was significantly cheaper. I ordered this online. I've pried on the blade ridiculously, and even though it was actually made in Taiwan, the blade didn't snap. But I was able to buy 4 of these for the price of even a single primary K-bar. And while I've broken the tips off of many a K-bar in my time in the military, as well as my time private military contracting overseas, I have yet to break this knife. And I've used it from everything from opening cans to stabbing a steel door in order to get a car door open when a guy failed to comply with the step out of the vehicle, please. But that's my 2 primary carries. The other thing I carry on this keyring, your keyring is very important. There's a lot of little doodads and things you can put on there and just forget about, because you always take your key everywhere. Obviously, I've got my Xterra key. I've got an extra, this key goes to the gun safe inside my vehicle. Nothing important there. This one is a mil-spec can opener. Okay, you don't have to carry food on you in your pocket. Everywhere in America, in an urban environment, you're within a quarter mile of a can of beans. Everywhere. You can open it with a can opener. Okay, you don't have to carry around 5 pounds of heavy food in your backpack. There's a grocery store nearby somewhere. Okay, the next one, actually, this one is a tick remover. In my particular neighborhood, in order for me to evacuate on foot, I have to go through a little portion of trees right behind my house that would lead me into town or away from town, and that section of woods is just packed with ticks. So tick remover is pretty important to me. Nothing would just ruin my bug in or my bug out like 3 days from now dealing with the side effects of Lyme disease. So that tick remover is a big deal, believe it or not. Other than that, I think everybody should have a Bic lighter. Okay, if we were talking about running off to the woods somewhere, bugging out to a survival location, I would be talking about magnesium fire starters or a bow drill or any of the other numerous ways that you can start a fire. But right here in your urban environment, whether you smoke or not, you should carry a Bic lighter in your pocket. There's a million reasons. Actually, I quoted quite a few of them in previous videos. I'm a smoker, so I always have my lighter with me anyway, but if I was not a smoker, I would still have a lighter with me. There's a million things you can use it for. You can thaw the lock on your car door in the wintertime. If you can't get your key to turn in the door of your car, you thaw it out with a Bic lighter. You can do that and turn it. It'll open right up. I promise you it works. I spent a little bit of time living in Michigan. Every single year when it gets cold, the door locks freeze. I no longer live in Michigan. I'm way down in North Carolina now. But a lighter is still pretty important. The other thing that I always have on me, I can't show you my phone because I'm filming with it right now, but I also use this. This is a tough-tested battery bank. Now this one can be charged via a USB port or the solar panel right here on the front. And I hang it out of my back pocket, or I hang it from my carabiner on my keys, and it can literally charge up all day while you're walking around. If you need to use your phone for an emergency, you can just plug your phone back in and charge your phone back up. Normally when my phone's in my pocket, I keep it inside of an aluminum envelope. That actually works as a Faraday cage. Not that it would really matter all that much, because in the event of an EMP, you're not going to be able to use your mobile device because your cell towers are not protected, and chances are your neighbor's phone's not protected either, so you're not going to be able to call anybody. But there is a lot of information that I keep stored on my phone. I know a lot of people that have a huge prepper library. I have a pretty huge prepper library at my house too, hard books in the house. But I keep a lot of information stored on my phone that always stays in my pocket. And those things talk about local indigenous foods that grow naturally. There's quite a few different plants here in eastern North Carolina that make great analgesics. So if you manage to get cut and you need something as an antiseptic, there are lots of things around here that you can use. But since I am not a plant guy, I don't walk around and go, I wonder what this plant is. I keep colored pictures on my phone. Descriptions of what they look like, what they smell like, what the leaves look like. And if you're like me, you're highly allergic to poison ivy. If I even look at poison ivy, I swell up like a balloon. And since, I can't tell the difference between a poison ivy plant and a pot plant, I'm just not going to go near any of those 5-leaved plants or 3-leaved plants. For some reason, I can take poison oak and poison sumac and rub it all over my face and nothing will happen. But poison ivy, I can just walk too close to it and it turns into a bad day. So for reasons like that, I keep pictures of it in my phone so I know for a fact, hey, that's the kind of plant that I need to stay away from. Or, hey, that's a wild strawberry. I can eat that. Or, in the state of North Carolina, there's actually 3 different kinds of wild mint. 2 of them I found out grow right here in my front yard. I had no idea. I was able to find those online. Boiled it. They make an incredible tea. They're also a natural analgesic. Anyway, I keep all of that on my phone. This keeps my phone charged up. If my phone dies, I can plug it into this, charge it back up, and even if all the power's out in the country, I can still turn my phone on and check to make sure that, yes, these plants are edible, no, these plants are not edible, and that prevents me from having to carry around 400 books in my Xterra. I can save room for extra fuel cans or my generator, which I usually just throw right there in the back if I plan on bugging out to somewhere. But that's pretty much it for my EDC. Now, the only other thing that I have on me that I think you should probably have on you too are credit cards. Now, I'm not going to show you much of my credit card because I don't want you to see my numbers and steal my information. But a credit card is very important for 2 reasons. I carry metal credit cards. Metal credit cards. The reasons I carry metal credit cards is because in places that you can't have a knife, for instance, the courthouse, for instance, the back of a police cruiser, any other examples. You get stopped by a criminal while you're trying to run away and he's, running your pockets and tells you to drop the knife, ties your hands behind your back. You can file down the edge of your credit card and saw off that whatever they duct taped your hand with, tied your hand with, doesn't matter. You can cut a throat with a credit card, a metal credit card, not a plastic one. But the real important thing about a credit card is you don't have to carry cash in your pocket. And unless all the power went out, you can use that credit card for emergencies. I have never used this credit card in my life. The only reason I carry this credit card is for emergency situations. If my car runs out of gas, I can fuel it back up. If I get friggin' detained, and they take my gun and my knife. I still have a means of defending myself, because I have a sharpened credit card that works as a blade. You can use a sharpened credit card to cut off clothes, to access wounds, things like that. But that's the only other thing that I keep in my everyday things. Because I'm not always going to carry my bug-out bag. I'm not going to take my bug-out bag with me into Walmart when I'm grocery shopping. I'm not going to take my bug-out bag with me to the jailhouse so that I can pay for a speeding ticket. I'm not going to take my bug-out bag with me to do a quick run down to the gas station. But these things are always, always, always on my person, so that no matter where I'm at, it's always available to me. If you have just small tools like that, you're going to be prepared in 90% of your situations. You don't have to have an axe to run with you to Walmart. You don't have to carry a machete to run with you to Walmart. You don't need to carry 15 extra magazines in a bug-out bag just to run to the post office or go and pay a fine at the courthouse. You just need the basics. And as long as you use the basics as much as you possibly can, you get used to using the basics, you're going to do great. Now, if there was anything that you think that, something small that I can put on as a keychain, anything like that. Like actually somebody mentioned to me the other day, how come you don't carry a flashlight? And the answer to that is it's simple. I have a flashlight on my phone, and there's also a flashlight on my battery charger, so I actually do carry 2 flashlights. But I actually don't use flashlights pretty much ever. I have pretty good night vision. There's techniques for that. If you want to know about great techniques for mastering your night vision, let me know, and I will. But I try to minimize my light usage as much as possible. In the military, we called it light discipline. And that's because you turn on a flashlight, people everywhere around know exactly where you are. If you're trying to be a sneaky squirrel and you turn on your flashlight, I don't care what color the lens is. It doesn't matter if it's a white light, a red light, a blue light, a green light. If you turn on your light, people can see you, and they know where you are. Okay? I either utilize light discipline with my night vision, or I have a set of nods that I keep in my truck. For those of you that don't know what nods are, they're night optical devices, NVG's night vision glasses. I have a set of nods that I was given while I was a military contractor overseas, and they work fantastic. I understand that not everybody can afford NVGs, so wasn't even going to bring that up. I keep them in the glove box of my truck. And the simple reason for that is if I'm bugging out, I can shut off the headlights in my truck and still drive with my night vision. But if I'm just on my feet, I'm not even going to use my night vision goggles. Anyway, thank you very much for visiting. If you have any questions, or there's something that you want me to cover, or there's something that you think I missed in a previous video or even this video, please drop a comment down below. Hit like, please subscribe, come back and visit. I post a new one every day. I've been doing this for about 5 days now. I've been prepping for about 20 years. But a good friend of mine about a week ago told me that, hey, you should really start making videos. You would do an amazing job. So this is me trying to post videos. So if there's anything that I can do better on, let me know. If there's things that you thought I did fantastic on, awesome, that's great news too. Let me know. If there's any subjects you want me to talk about, as long as it does not violate a non-disclosure agreement that I have filled out at some point during my career, I'll tell you all about it. Now, there's some stuff I'm not going to talk about. All right, I'm not going to talk about, plans for civil unrest. I'm not going to talk about social political ideology. I'm not going to talk about my feelings personally on the federal government or how they handle things, simply for 2 reasons. 1, I don't want to get no-knocked at 3 o'clock in the morning, and 2, I don't want to go to jail for accidentally violating a non-disclosure agreement that I may or may not have signed while working with the federal government. So as long as it doesn't pertain to either of those 2 things, go ahead and drop a comment down below. Anything you want to say, like, subscribe, and until next time, keep prepping as much as you possibly can, or as little as you can afford. Whatever you can prep today saves you a lot of heartache tomorrow. And if you haven't done it yet, as always, please read the Constitution, and we'll see you next time.